Hey everyone, and welcome to Shopify Dropshipping Lifestyle. My name is Ricky Hayes, and in today's video, we're going into what you should not be doing when you're doing your Facebook ads. Okay, so this one is more an informational video and things that are not necessary. A lot of myths that I'm sort of seeing that I wanted to tackle again. Of things that you should and shouldn't be doing, okay? And I've just decided to start on this screen because I love dogs. If any of you follow me, I'm a huge dog lover. Just follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I love dogs very much. But first, before we get into my ads manager on my account here, let me start with... Go away. Let me start with, again, the whole PPE thing. That's sort of been brought up again. I'm noticing, don't do PPE. Just don't, okay? I know for a fact that marketers much better than me. Let's be honest, there's a million people better than me. And that's good. It means someone for me to actually chase after and learn from. But don't do PPE, okay? A number of these people that have been doing PPE have admitted themselves in their various YouTube and various posts and things like that I've been following, that on their old ad accounts, PPE actually worked quite well with the testing phase, because it mainly is for testing. But now on their new ad accounts, they are finding that website conversion purchase is working better. And that's because Facebook has updated the algorithm. A lot of these PPE accounts, ad accounts, were relevant when that was a year ago. A lot's changed. Facebook, like anything, is getting smarter. The back end is getting smarter. The front end is getting smarter too, of course. But as a whole, it's they're updating the algorithm. They're finding more correlations, and in many regards, that benefits us. And as a result, Facebook are forcing people down the specific paths of your specific objective. Okay. Gone are the days where you can run a PPE campaign and really expect it to do well. It's going to die. Very rare is it actually going to do well. And I know it's meant to be an indicator, but just don't do it, okay? Website conversion purchase, I actually, in my humble opinion, not that I'm very humble, think that add to cart and view content conversion pixels to optimize for is not really even necessary. They should be there as purely for things for making custom audiences and lookalikes. If you do Google marketing, you'll see that pretty much it says, what do you want? Do you want to purchase? Okay, cool. That's what we're going to get you. Simple as that, because that's what we want. We want to purchase, and so why don't we just tell Facebook from the beginning, okay? You'll hear everywhere about this. And I just, again, I've always stuck with the simplicity. I get asked this all the time. I don't do add to cart. I don't do view content. Yes, you do get lower CPMs. Yes, you do get lower CPCs. Yes, that does mean you can potentially hit them with more retargeting. However, I want to qualify my traffic. And as much as Facebook, let's be honest, is a pain. They update things. They screw people over. Many businesses die overnight because of various things. Obviously, that is not their intention. They want money, okay? And they're going to be more and more forcing us down that line of they want our money, and so they're going to get it, okay? So the other thing that I've noticed, Facebook have been doing a lot more updates. Recently. So now, again, the whole PPE thing. Further to this, there's I have accidentally... done it, and it's the shittest thing I personally ever seen. So, budget optimization on a campaign. Basically, campaign budget optimization will distribute your budget across the ad set. So think of it like as your ad set with multiple ad creatives in it. It's going to favor one that's doing the best. Now, in theory, that does mean you have more automation. The reality is, this would work well for something like on Google. I'm personally learning a lot more about Google. I love the idea of it. I still have a long way to go. But this type of stuff works well on Google because that's what sort of people are looking for. Whereas on Facebook, I've come to learn there's plenty of third-party tools like Quire. I can't even remember half of them. I remember the badge. But what they do is they help with the automation of your ads to optimize and scale. However, I'm not a fan of this. Now, you might think, what, Ricky? You love automation. I do. I love it when I am certain that I'm going to get the result that I want. So if I'm using ManyChat, if I'm using Facebook, if I'm using my Shopify apps, if I'm using anything to make funnel, whatever the hell, I want to be confident in it, okay? I'm not confident in Facebook ads in the sense of I don't trust it. Every day, as I say, there's updates going in that change the game, that mean that you continually have to monitor it. And it is time consuming. I spend hours a day in my ads manager, and it is a pain. However, I know it's necessary because I prefer that control. Facebook can be random. Again, a lot of sales aren't attributed, which is fucking me over right now. Sales aren't attributed, and just ridiculously high CPMs, and I just don't want to give Facebook more than they need. Now, from my understanding as well, budget optimization doesn't work with a lot of third-party tools. It actually adds in another factor. And with Facebook ads, I don't like to use a third-party tool for that. I just don't feel comfortable. Again, I like to try and keep, unless I absolutely have to, I do love integration. I try and keep control. I want control. Control gives results. And, it's like if you get some digital marketing agency to do it, you don't actually know if they're good. They're just going off. But anyway, what the fuck? That's just me having a whinge. But don't turn on budget optimization. It is a pain in the ass. What it also means is when you make ad sets underneath it, that they're going to get the budget optimization. So like it's going to have minimum spend, maximum spend, and it's going to distribute it. It's meant to work, but again, you can do the exact same by literally Control D, which is, if you don't know what that is, that's duplicate in Facebook Ads Manager. And I swear to God, if you don't know how to do Control D or any of these simple shortcuts, or just clicking the duplicate button and choosing the amount of time, you're wasting a lot of time. If you're an ads manager and you're a Facebook marketing expert, which you should be, which you're aiming for, which is natural, then learn to just use what's there. Facebook does provide a lot of good stuff, but it's this stuff that just is not useful. So don't do that. Do not split test, in my opinion. I have tried it only a couple of times, and again, I just don't get the results. Basically, it's just compare the performance of your ad sets. You can test the creative placement, and you can do that all yourself anyway. So like all it is meant to just be taking that one step away from you. But again, if you use like naming conventions, I'm horrible at this. This is something I need to improve. A proper naming convention of your campaign, which should be easy, of course, because it's just a campaign name. And you give your ad sets a meaningful name, and your ad creative a meaningful name. Obviously, you're going to be duplicating, so there's going to be stuff lost in translation. But when you are split testing, try and keep the stuff that makes sense. If you're like doing 25 to 65 plus in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the other countries I've forgotten of. United States, they're saying? UK, cool, got there. Just make sure if you find that in the United States that's where you're getting your traffic and the best conversion rate, just duplicate an ad and just take out the other one so you know it's US at face value. And just you do that and that. So just ignore those two, okay? These are things that have been there for a bit, but I just want to alert people because I have been asked this quite a bit recently, and they're just tools that are there realistically that have no benefit. Now, another one that I have seen a lot, because I am trying to build a marketing agency, very, very slow, but that's something that I plan to do, is speaking to businesses, that a lot of businesses, right, believe it or not, they don't know what an ads manager is. They just think, because you know how on the Facebook page it promotes you, markets to you to say, promote this listing, right? And you promote it. It's completely useless. It's a PPE campaign. And people think it works well. Now, somehow for brands, and I have seen this, that it does actually work well. Now, that's because they built a brand of over 100,000 likes on their page, and they are in the fashion niche. and they've already got that devoted following. They know fashion well, and it just works. However, they're doing it wrong. They could be making so much more money. They don't even actually run remarketing, which is phenomenal. Anywho, don't do that, okay? That's another thing. Do not do that. Make sure you have your ads manager. Next, moving on. Let's make this blah, 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 blah. I'm good at typing gibberish. And I made a mistake there and chose traffic. The good thing is you can, once it's in draft, you can easily change it, all right? So again, don't turn on budget optimization. Further to this, in the actual ad set, Facebook have made some changes to the conversion window. Now, again, let's just choose purchase. Doesn't matter. For this exercise. So Facebook actually now have, I'm not sure if any of you have actually seen it, but they, some of you have it. I have it on one of my ad accounts. Value-based optimization for ad delivery. I don't know many people actually have it. I don't know why I have it and so many others don't. There's people that have spent millions that don't have it. I don't know why. Do you know what, if that is? If you do get it, try it. Because it actually does work well. Value-based is, I have no idea what the criteria to get it is. So I know it's kind of useless to many of you. But conversions obviously optimize, and this is another thing I sort of don't get anyway, but is conversions optimizes for, getting people to convert, right? Amazing. Cool. I love that. I don't know how it works, but thank God someone figured that out. However, there's another one called value. So basically value is people converting, but at a higher ROAS somehow. I have no fucking clue how that works. But there's another one where value, now admittedly conversion still actually works better for me as a whole, but I have split tested and it actually works. I would love to give that all to you as something to try, but I don't know what the criteria is to get it. It literally just has value and it says we'll deliver your ads to the right people and help you get the best return on ad spend is basically what it says. The same as conversions there, but just slightly different. Right? How cool is that? That I must admit is cool, but it's very limited who actually gets it. Whether or not that's based because it's probably in like maybe a beta still, I don't know. But anyway, moving on. The other thing that a number of people have asked me, and it's something that I've been dabbling in a little bit, just to try, because I use the theory of once you start getting sales, 20% experimentation, 80% just same day in, day out, right? So what that means is you have your main ads, you have your main sales, 80% of that is your profit. You know that that's going to get you sales. You know that's coming in. Cool, cool, cool. And then 20% is fucking go wild, right? Because the reality is this is a game of testing, testing, testing. You got to try new things. I'm a stubborn, arrogant person. And I don't like change. In fact, I hate change. I actually struggle with it in so many regards. I don't know why. But I try these things, okay? So a number of people have said to me, and I've tried it, and it sort of does work, sort of doesn't. But I stick to the one day after clicking, right? So I've tried 7 day, 1 day. They work much the same, so I just stick to 1 day. But the other thing is this bid strategy, right? They've updated this. If you're not familiar with bid strategy, just leave it as lowest cost. That's what most people are going to get the most purchases for your budget, and you can actually set a cap. I found that cap is useless. I find the bid cap is also useless. Basically, if you see you're controlling your average cost CPA across the entire ad set. So it's going to spike up and then it's going to sort of plateau. Basically, it's going to just stay there. It's the idea, but I find that doesn't really work well. Facebook, I just let it optimize, and the cost for a single purchase. So it's basically. I believe it. I've always used the process of 2.5 times CPA. So if your CPA is $12, I'm going to use a rounder figure because my maths. $10, it'll be $25 that you would put there, right? And it's the same with target cost. Target is manual bidding. Maintain a stable average cost per purchase as you raise your budget. Okay. Now, if I could get $5 cost per purchases non-stop, this would literally be my golden ticket to happiness, right? But unfortunately that's not the case. So what's going to happen is Don't do manual bidding until you've sort of confirmed. This does work occasionally. Manual bidding is very random, right? So what you have to do is, again, 2.5 times CPA. So we're using $10, so $25. So you would set it at 25 bucks, but Facebook may not define that. It's like the same as when you manual bid on Google, is it won't get impressions if it actually, by its algorithm, defines that it's not enough. So then you increase it I do it every 3 hours by $3. Or we can do every hour by $1. Realistically, it's the same thing, but that's just how I've done it. And you'll eventually find that it'll start spending. So you increase it $3. If it doesn't work after 3 hours, do it again. And then it'll actually start spending. And so that's something you can try. But don't do that straight away. Now, moving on for some other updates. I'm just trying to remember. Don't add an instant experience. Don't do that. It's not very useful at all. I'm going to hide that. That's annoying. Again, I've shown you the URL parameters. There really isn't many updates actually. And if you are running stories, but I still don't really run stories. I'd rather just actually run an Instagram story creative rather than actually through Facebook. I find it doesn't really work well, but just don't enable this instant experience. Okay, it's not very useful. Lastly, many of you should be aware as well that, it really has had no impact at all. And I actually forgot to report on it. Was in your Pixel now, does it have it set up? You should have what's it called? First party cookies is on. Okay, so you can turn it off, but it is a change that you sort of need in order to get better marketing data back, because what that relates to is a change that Apple have made. Okay, but lastly, this is something that I've recently tried, haven't had amazing results with, and I really don't recommend it. It's not really that useful. Is automatic advanced matching. In theory, it's meant to work well. I don't know. There's no way to really split test it. You can't split test your Pixel, really. To have the same amount of data, the same amount of this and that. It's just, I don't know how you actually confirm it. But I don't leave it on. I don't find it very useful. Alright, so there's just no need for it, okay? But further to that, everything else in Facebook is pretty much the same. This is just, I wanted to give an update on a few of those things. There really isn't much else that I can think of. Also, I would add, be very dubious once you get a Facebook rep to not take their word as gospel. Is a number of people that I speak to, they respect them, of course, and I do too. But don't take it as gospel. A lot of them are reading from a script. They're not in this day in, day out like we are, okay? So if you are asking me about that, my opinion of it is don't listen to it. They're usually going to say, why don't you manual bid? They're usually going to just say, make some simple lookalikes. No, okay, not really worth it. But again, on the adverse side, Facebook have done some nice little changes. They've sort of updated the interface. I like what they've done with now the ability to sort of mass change when you have multiple ad sets. So you can, rather than, it's just sort of changing it minutely, not hugely, but there is a lot of things they still need to improve on. So for instance, if I duplicate this, and again, don't do the split test. Don't use budget optimization. I don't know. I think because I made it in draft wrong. That's probably why. But, one thing that if you aren't aware that Facebook have done that I kind of like, that I find very useful, is this. I really want... I don't know. Do I have that in my other? But I like what they've done with this. Okay, so, if you can highlight that and go mixed values. But let's say, we start at a starting point. And I'm just going to say, US, AU, CA, UK, NZ, interests, targeting 1, what else? Sorry, women, English all, blah blah, you get the idea. But you see how now it makes different, you know, you can do simple little stuff like that. You can change, when you're doing split testing, the aging quite easy. So once you have a see how I say that it's important to have a right ad set name, you have the right ad set name, you can easily create these split tests. You can even change the bidding strategy, which is really cool. Delivery optimization, the billing, delivery type. I never go accelerated. Never go accelerated. And on that note as well, lifetime budget setting at specific times does not work well on Facebook for some reason. Again, Google, stuff like that works well, but Facebook, it just does not. But I like what they've done there, okay? So that's pretty much it. I wanted to give an update on that to sort of give you guys an idea, things just to cut out, not to worry about. That's just not necessary. Keep it simple. Just follow my strategy and you'll be all good to go, okay? So if you did like today's video, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, okay, guys? Now, just lastly, as an update, course is live in beta. If you are interested, there is a link down below. I'm actually really excited getting some amazing feedback. People are absolutely loving it, and obviously there's things to improve. So the price is obviously going to be going up over time upon full release. I have some really big plans in place that are slowly coming too. It just takes a long time, but aside from that, I've just been so busy with the final quarter in the year that sales are, I'm imagining for most of us, doing really well. Well, as many of us as possible, and you're probably seeing an uplift in sales. Keep in mind around the 15th, especially for drop shipping, try not to push it past that date, okay? You're going to be really pushing it. In most of the first world countries, Australia, UK, NZ, US and Canada, they do usually arrive within 10 days, okay? So that is your sort of cut-off date. I'd go 15th, 17th max. That's just, and even then that's really pushing it, because if you get it on the 15th, then and unless you can fulfill it pretty much the same day to get it shipped out as soon as possible, it's going to be hard, because again, companies are obviously going to be going through a bit of a downshifting in terms of how fast they get delivered. I mean, they'll be definitely focusing heavily on it as much as possible, but it's Christmas period, people are taking holidays, so we got to remember as well that as much as we want those sales, we do not want to piss our customers off. If you want longevity in your business, make sure to keep that in mind. Do not go past those dates. I recommend the 15th as your cutoff, okay? If that's what you're wondering, that 15th, that's when I'll be scaling it right back to pretty much nearly nothing and just keeping just a bare minimum just to keep the ads going, basically. And, you know, if organic one comes in, that's fine. But what I plan to do is just send out a blanket email, a blanket email as well as a messenger update and a text, just to say that we are at this date. If you are buying now past this date, you may not receive it past it, because otherwise you're going to get chargebacks. You're going to get a lot of people mad, because regardless of what niche you're in, people will be buying for Christmas. All right. So again, thank you very much, guys, for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day. Let's all get some more sales. Take care and goodbye.